I got to tell you.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I'm excited about this. You know, I can tell you right now. Okay, look, guys. If you want something, okay, that you know, not everything. I'm just telling you. Okay, in my world, this kind of material is impossible to get. I've only had it a few times in my life. I've been to Colombia and I've traded for this before. This is natural green amber. It comes out of Colombia. I exported for Colombia twice. The problem with exporting it, where this is found is a very jungly area. We got it out. When you export from Colombia, you never know when somebody's going to put a little extra thing in your bucket. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when I would export for Colombia, I would actually make U.S. Customs stand there with me as when we received it and open each bucket, because I thought, because where this came from, this area was notorious. I mean, absolutely notorious.
No way.
And I used to say, I want you to tear this apart. Just so you know, I haven't opened this. I have not received this shipment yet, you know? And so they want it. That being said, okay, a friend of mine, he's a German,
so cool.
All right? And he sells to these customers that are just like crazy. I mean, high dollar, Dubai type customers that, I mean,
Really?
like things that are, you know, like a pair of earrings that are 20 grand and stuff like that. That's his customer. That's who he makes for. He makes for a lot of these real exclusive stores in Europe is what he specializes in. I didn't cut these. He cut it, but him and I go way back. This is all natural green amber. He had cut this for a store. They were delayed. They got it in late, and his order got canceled. And I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was talking to him about it. Now he had just cut the beads. He hadn't drilled them, he hadn't strung them, he hadn't done anything, but he had just cut the beads. And that's where they were on this. And I was able to negotiate a deal with him at a crazy price. I gotta tell you, this price right here is nothing. It is nothing. This is like my precious opal Ethiopian deal.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now, this is green amber. It's Colombian green amber. It is the rarest amber on planet Earth. You do not see this anywhere. And it's the only green amber ever that I've ever seen. It doesn't exist anywhere else. You can see that's the stringy thing through it. It is translucent, but you can see the green color. This is like something that,
it's almost surreal.
If you want to have something that no one else is going to have, this is something you really might want to think about.
It's so cool.
Perfect.
And I've got to tell you, it's got the most amazing glow to it. Like, obviously, I've seen a ton of amber in my lifetime, right? There's nothing that resembles this at all. I mean, how cool is it? And the neat thing about it, too, is I love the size of the beads. They're huge, right? But it's incredibly lightweight. So if you like that wow look, you want something highly rare, highly different, you definitely don't want to look like you shop at the same mall stores as your girlfriends do. This is your piece tonight. Now, when Adam and you had it on, I think you guys sold a couple thousand in like one airing, right?
We had 3,000 of them.
We had 3,000.
We sold them all.
Right.
And these are the last few of the last few. Yeah.
Right, last few hundred.
I'll never ever be able to get this again, probably in my lifetime.
Wow.
That is how rare this is. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that if you want something really unique, if you want something special, if you want something very different, and here again with this green amber, this is natural. Do you know that there's a lot of this stuff out there that's faux, right? Where they make this faux, and you'll see it every now and then. But okay, in your lifetime, have you ever seen green amber?
No. And
Okay,
I'm
in your lifetime.
I got GIA certified and all that fancy stuff.
Even at the GIA, did they ever show you green amber?
Never,
you saw
ever.
butterscotch amber, you saw the cognac amber, you see the root beer amber, you see the cherry amber. This material, it only comes from a very small geographic area in south get my head going. Southwestern Colombia, and it comes from the jungle region out there.
That's what's amazing too. That's crazy because a lot of amber they go down to the ocean and it kind of floats up and they collect it from
yeah. Even how they get
cool
this and
is that?
stuff.
It's totally different than regular amber.
And this material. You know, number one, it's extremely expensive. This price is ridiculous. It's stupid right off the bat. He was willing, he really needed the cash and for something that he was in the middle of, and he really needed the dollars. He's a German. And the thing with, here again, these weren't drilled, he had just done the initial polishing on them and the initial cutting. We finished them, and then we did the final polish on them. Another thing with amber, to tell you the truth, if you have to know what you're doing when you work with amber, when you polish it. You can't get it hot, and you don't want anything that's aggressive.
Really?
So amber is all polished with like a soft chamois leather wheel, and then you buff it and buff it and buff it, and then you get that really beautiful finish. What I love with this is this, okay? You get this big, bold look. I know this isn't like design-wise where you're going, oh my God, I've never seen graduated round beads in my life, you know? No, I understand
Nothing new on that.
Okay, and here again, what I really would have truly made my day is if he just would have had the rough and would have sold me the rough.
Right.
But he had already cut the beads. So there's nothing I can do.
You know what, Jay?
There's nothing I can do about it.
But I kind of like it because you know why? It just really shows off the amber.
Well,
like, why do a lot of muckety-muck around it when you don't have to?
But I begged him. I said, look, I know you, man. I know you've got some rough here somewhere. He goes, honestly, I don't. He goes, I used it up. He goes, this was a big order for me. He says, we just got really far behind on it. And by the time, when I say far behind, I think he was 6 months behind on the delivery schedule.
And then they canceled it?
And
whoever's going to buy
the store that was going to buy that canceled on him. And he wasn't even close to finishing yet. But if you can obtain the raw material, the rough material, he did have some rough. I've got some specimens that he actually just gave me a really cool specimen. He had a little rough, but when you see the raw material, it is mesmerizing. But I'm just telling you, look, honest to goodness, if you're the kind of person that really likes to have something that no one else is going to have, that is truly unique, and this is nothing. This material is so rare. I mean, the price is really kind of like name your price mostly. I've never been able, like I said, the last time that I saw this material was like mid-'80s, and I had a connect, and I was buying copal, which is like it's like kind of a form of amber, but it's not ancient amber. This material is 30 to 50 million years old. Copal is 3 to 5 million years old. With this material, though, I got on it, and I have to tell you, I bought like maybe like 100 kilos, and that was huge at that time for me. We brought it back. I used to put this in Southwestern Designs, and I would just take the big pieces, and I would make these massive pendants, massive bracelets. I could not keep it. I'd put it in the case, and literally I put it in the case that morning. By that night, it would be gone.
Really?
It was like magic. And the reason is people realize how rare this is. But this is really, I don't want to get like, I'm not trying to oversell this. I'm just telling you, this is the kind of thing I would give this to I would give this to my mom. I would give this to my wife. I would give this to my sisters. And then I would make them appreciate it. But I guarantee you don't have anything else in your wardrobe. Just like you said, I will tell you, you grew up in the jewelry with your parents making jewelry, right? They were in the jewelry business, kind of, right?
Well, it was their hobby, actually. They're passionate about it.
Okay, that's what they did. You've seen a little bit of jewelry. You're GIA certified. I'm not. She is. She's one of those GI nerds that we won't talk about. Okay, so she's GI certified. Okay, she has never seen this material.
Never, ever. Yeah. And you know what? I even go, like when we were at Smithsonian, I spent a lot of time looking at the gems in the Smithsonian. It's not in the Smithsonian, guys. I mean, I everything they had visible to see. I don't know what they have in the back, but I've never ever seen it. And you know, a lot of us have seen a lot of amber. Well, actually, it's funny. You don't see a lot of amber in the stores anyway, but here on HSN, because of him, we have a lot of amber, and we see a lot of amber. This one is so extra special. I got really tickled about it because I was like, what? There is such a thing as green amber out there. All right, here's what's happening. These absolutely will be sold out. You cannot wait. Do not stick it in your cart and think it's going to be safe there. That is not a safety zone for shopping on HSN. If someone is actively snatching this up, which everybody is, it will be taken out of your cart and given to the person who's actively checking out. Please, it happened to me. I was shopping 5 months ago. I had 5 things in my cart. It was 2:30 in the morning. I thought, you know, I'll just go home. I'm tired. I'll check out later. Opened my cart back up. 4 of the 5 items were sold out. I was like, what? And I just learned that like 6 months ago. So it will happen. You want to make sure you check out. If you are getting the spruce turquoise, the Spruce Mountain turquoise necklace we had last hour, don't let that sit in your cart. Check out for these pieces. This will be completely sold out. And like you said, the odds of getting it again are pretty
You know,
null.
like I said, 1985 is the last time I bought any of the rough. This, you know, like I would have loved to got it just in the natural, you know, still natural state before it had been cut. But he had already cut it. He had cut it all, but he hadn't drilled it and he hadn't finished it and polished it. But I was just felt so fortunate to be able to get it. And I feel fortunate to offer it to you. And like I said, he's German. And so Germans, you know, like it's really funny. Germans sometimes they have the coolest stuff, and of course they will never hook you up with anybody.
Oh, they don't.
You know, no, I mean I love him to death, but he wouldn't hook me up, and he won't sell me the rough. So you know, like. Wow, you know, dude, and I helped, but I helped him out. So when he needs help, then I always help him out. You know.
But you know what's amazing too? The color consistency of this.
Well, yeah, it's natural. It's all
beautiful.
natural. And you know, like too on this material, this is who he was making this for. They want the clear material. So all the stuff he had some of the beads that had like bugs and stuff in them, and but those they didn't have a lot of them. But that's the kind of stuff that they had thrown to the side, you know. And that's my customer, you know. But I didn't really have enough to make a project to do anything really with. So anyway, these had already been color sorted and everything. So make a long story short.
And kind of let me just add to this. This is why when Jay's here, you should always tune in if you can, or you know, make sure you get alerted when he's here. He has access to people. Strangest things will happen. Like we were walking in Tucson together, and he's like a rock star out there because they know the guy comes and he's got cash. Okay, well not on him, but and they really respect him for that. There's so many people who just love Jay out there because he says what he says, he does what he does, and he does it brilliantly. And he's a very ethical businessman when it comes to this kind of rough and tumbled group of people who work in the gemstone world. And what I love about Jay is people know that when they'll go to him, they'll call him up and say, hey Jay, I found this, I've got this, would you like this? And then, you know, he's like, yeah, heck yes, I'll take it. So the neat thing about knowing Jay and knowing that he's here on HSN exclusively is we get an opportunity at something like this. Like, have you ever seen green amber? No, probably not. Most of us don't even get to see real amber, regular amber, let alone a green amber, right? And so this really is one of those moments. Now, here's what we've done. After its launch and selling a couple thousand at $200, yeah, that's it, guys. So there's your chance at it.
And you know what? Here's what I appreciate. I appreciate the fact that you appreciate
you get it.
the rare